Hello out there in internet land. This is episode 6 of the Stop the Damn Match Wrestling podcast. This week we're going to be reviewing the WWE Extreme Rules pay-per-view. Frankly, I don't know what was fucking extreme about it, but still. As per usual, I'm joined first off with my P&J F1 podcast co-host, JB. JB, how are you, my friend?
Good, man. I'm good. We just watched some pretty good wrestling, I guess.
Yeah, it was alright.
Some pretty sort of extreme, but not very extreme wrestling.
It's about as extreme as PG can get.
That's it.
And sitting beside me on my left is their other amigo, our other co-host, Dr. Shaymus. Dr. Shaymus, how are you?
Not too bad. You know, we got spoiled with AEW a couple of weeks ago. So, we'll get to this one.
Yeah, look, my initial thoughts on this pay-per-view, having just sat through nearly 3 hours, and it was a nice surprise that this only went for just under 3 hours.
Thank fuck.
Not 4 hours.
Yeah. But even then, like, it did feel a little bit exhausting.
Mm.
They always seem to. It's a long...
Yeah.
I mean, keeping in mind we're watching this shit at like 9 o'clock at night on a fucking Monday. I mean, sleepy.
And
Sleepy already.
There was only 6 matches on the card.
They dragged that shit out.
Dragged them out.
Oh, I mean, well, after every match, you got 10 minutes of fucking advertising.
Gotta pay them bills.
Yeah. I thought that's what the agreement with Saudi Arabia was.
But they haven't gone there yet, so they haven't been paid.
Saudi blood money.
Hey, they all got kidnapped anyway. Again.
If there was one good thing about that kidnapping was that we ended up with a really great episode of SmackDown with the NXT invasion.
It was like one of the best episodes of SmackDown ever.
And we ended up with one of the better Survivor series that year with the NXT versus Raw versus SmackDown.
Wait, wasn't that the episode where Becky broke her nose?
That was...
That was the week after.
No, that was a year later.
Wait, really? Was it that long after?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because that's when Raw invaded as well.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to kick off the pay-per-view with a 6-man tag team match between The New Day, including Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston, and the new WWE champion Big E, versus AJ Styles, Omos, and the former WWE champion Bobby Lashley.
Greatest technical wrestler in WWE right now, almost.
Almost.
Ric Flair. I'll kill you.
Hey, you're not allowed to say that name anymore.
Oh, fuck yeah, that's right. Can't talk about Ric Flair. We'll get to him a bit later. Now, I didn't, again, like the AEW one, I really didn't take notes like a play-by-play, blow-by-blow, because if you're listening to this review, then chances are you've watched the pay-per-view, so you don't really need me to sit there and recap every goddamn thing that happened. The only notes I took down about this match was it was a solid tag team match. It was a pretty solid one.
Did include the New Day, and they're always good.
They got good chemistry.
Absolutely.
There was the referee botch that seemed to send AJ Styles into a bit of a fit of rage.
Yeah, he threw the ref aside.
And told him what to do. There was a couple of times where the timing between the guys was a little bit off. Like, I think Xavier Woods went to do a spinning elbow, and he was just too soon, and by the time he finished his rotation, his elbow was about to come up, and there's no one there to hit.
Yeah, same thing happened with Styles, which is unusual for both of them because they're usually quite good in the ring. So it might have been just a timing thing in general. Maybe something threw them all out of whack a bit.
Yeah,
Could have been that referee botch that put AJ in kind of a bit of a less than ideal mindset.
I think the big moment of the match was, I think it was Xavier Woods dove over the top rope, and as he was coming down, Omos just chopped him.
Yeah, it was pretty stiff.
Get slapped.
It was nice to watch. It was just like bang midair. Stopped him like a brick wall.
But it had again, my last note here is that it was a really solid finish. Like it didn't have a screwy finish. Everyone got their shtick in.
Yeah.
And it ended with Big E hitting the big ending on Bobby Lashley. After Bobby Lashley had speared his teammate AJ Styles by accident.
Who sold it amazingly.
Yes.
Yeah, he got You got drilled.
And Big E pinned Bobby Lashley for the New Day to get the win.
Who was not happy?
I gave that match 4 out of 5. What are your thoughts on it, JB?
What are we comparing it to there? I mean, I gave it 3.5. It was good. It was solid.
Yeah.
I mean, the entire premise of the match was to set up the rematch between Bobby Lashley and Big E anyway, with the help of their tag team partners. But no, you're right. Everyone got their stick in. Omos got in. AJ Styles was doing his flippy dippy shit. You know, Xavier and Kofi got their licks in, and then obviously Bobby and Big E got to go at each other a few times, and then it was ultimately the finish of the match as well, which ties in the championship rematch pretty much perfectly. So the match delivered on what it needed to. Was a solid, entertaining opening to the match, and it set up the championship rematch. So yeah, good. 3.5 out of 5.
How about you, Dr. Shaymus?
I'll give it a 3.5. It was a pretty solid opener of a match. That was one of the better matches of the night, definitely. Like, you can't go wrong with the New Day. Big E's amazing. Kofi and Xavier been tag teaming for ages since Big E went on his solo run. And it's good seeing all three of them back together again. They're always happy. And they've been together for... Shit, how long have the New Day been together now?
Forever.
5 years.
5, 6 years at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those guys have been arguably one of the best of the newer tag teams, like newer generation.
Yeah.
And then Omos is getting better. Definitely, like, noticeably better. There wasn't a single botch I've seen from him tonight, which is always good to see.
Still limited in his ring time though.
Yeah,
But
that's on purpose.
yeah, he's coming along very well. Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. And then you got AJ, and AJ is always good, other than the timing that we mentioned earlier, which, you know, he's only human.
Yeah.
And Bobby's Bobby, just gonna wreck people. That's his job.
And it's set up for tomorrow, because it's during the day here in Australia. It's set up Big E versus Lashley for the WWE Championship opening Raw tomorrow, which leaves the door open because I know for a fact that Bobby Lashley's not going to win that match. He's not going to get the belt back. And he's going to lose it because there's going to be interference from Bill Goldberg, setting up the Goldberg-Lashley match at Crown Jewel.
The gladiator of a man.
Or whatever the fuck that Saudi pay-per-view is called.
Crown Jewel.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as it's not on at midnight and it's fucking 50 degrees and Goldberg concusses himself again. But there's every chance all three of those things could happen, so...
You know, the fact that you have to say again in that sentence.
Again.
Right, so after 10 minutes of commercials, maybe I should stick 10 minutes of bullshit commercials in here. Just do like some editing and stick it in.
Just pad it out a bit.
If it's per view, you'll make like 2 cents.
It'll get our video even more demonetized, less than what we're getting.
We'll get Will Story to...
Just gets monetized on JP's voice.
Some rich energy fucking promos.
Yeah.
We'll run them.
Will Story will love it. Till he finds out we're shitting on him. Then he'll,
crack the shits and get out of his contract.
Crack the shits on Twitter and say it's a dump truck. The next match is for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. The champions, the Usos, take on the Street Profits. Again, it was a solid tag team match. Like, these two teams really do put on a really good show. But I also did notice that there was a lot of timing botches in this match as well. Like, there was... And it was more noticeable than the last match. Like, there was a point there where one of the Usos was supposed to be doing a stomp on Montez Ford, who was between the ropes. And he had his foot there, but he wasn't stomping him. He was just dangling his foot. It's like, the camera's on you, mate. You going to do something?
Here's a weird sort of thing. Do you think because they're back in front of live crowds now, that their audible's a little bit off?
Maybe right.
Because these guys have been wrestling in front of like no crowds basically for the last 18 months. And their timing's just a little bit off. Like, do you think they're not hearing the calls properly because they're actually in front of people now?
They might have got climatized to that kind of wrestling, but even then, you know, some of them have been wrestling for, decades now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
But I suppose
it
with the
just
teams
seemed,
that
it just
have
seemed
been
odd that almost every match had timing issues.
yeah, it got better towards the end of the night.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Some of the big moments was, I think it was Montez Ford did a DX crutch chop on the top rope. That was kind of cool.
which was called too, by the way, by
Pat McAfee.
Definitely, in my opinion, one of the best commentators at the moment on WWE.
He's brought so much life to Michael Cole too.
Yeah, Michael Cole doesn't sound like he wants to kill himself anymore.
Yeah.
He's like,
You can tell that he's bouncing off him and he likes talking with him.
yeah, he likes the banter. He likes the shit.
And then another big moment was all the other three guys were outside the ring, and then all of a sudden Montez Ford flips from inside the ring over the turnbuckle onto the Usos outside the ring.
Yeah, that was cool.
Huge.
That was awesome.
But ultimately, the Usos hit twin super kicks, then hit a double splash on Montez Ford, and the Usos retained the tag titles via pinfall.
Just rewinding a little bit before that too, Montez hit his signature frog splash, which is one of the best looking frog splashes in the business right now.
That dude gets some height.
Yeah. Yeah,
Reminds me
it's
of
very,
RVD's.
very reminiscent of RVD's 5-star frog splash. And
Absolutely.
he sells it like RVD's frog splash. Like RVD would land it and then roll around for the next 5 minutes selling the fact that he just crushed his own damn ribs. But it always gave that move legitimacy. Because you could believe that he actually did just fuck up his ribs performing his finishing maneuver.
But if it hurt him that much, how much did it hurt his opponent?
That's right. I gave the match a 3 out of 5. The reason it was going to get a little bit higher, but I ended up giving it a 3 because the timing botches on this were a lot more noticeable than the first match. And it just sort of dialed it back a little bit for me. What are your thoughts, Shaymus?
Yeah, I would agree with your 3-star rating on that. It was a little worse than the first match, but not by much. They're all quite good in the ring. They've wrestled together quite a number of times. And the Usos they have more of a grounded type style, whereas Montez and whatever the other Street Profit is, I can't remember his name.
Angelo Dawkins.
Angelo, thank you. They bounce off each other really, really well with their high-flying flippy-dippy moves.
Yeah.
Montez Ford is just a beast when it comes to leaping. It's always funny to watch. And his facial expressions, he sells incredibly well. Like he sold being hurt on SmackDown, holding his... Wait, SmackDown? No, SmackDown, I was right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sold like holding his ribs because he had been injured by like chairs and shit the night before. And it looked like he was legitimately in pain, which is something you don't see too much anymore. You don't see him selling like with their face a lot. It's just, I'm gonna, I got stomped in the chest, I'm gonna hold it for like a second and then get up straight away and I'll be fine. He was actually selling that for most of that match, even right at the end. He got super kicked in the chest before and he was selling that more and then got kicked in the face and that was it.
Dolph Ziggler used to sell like that, though.
Absolutely. Whatever happened to Dolph? He's still wrestling with... he's with Booby Roode still, I think.
Yeah, but they're not on TV at the moment.
Which sucks because Dolph has been there for longer than most people on that roster.
I would like to see Dolph and Booby Roode actually get singles runs, though.
No, love to see Dolph get an Intercontinental run again.
And maybe Bobby Roode. There's too many Bobbies. Bobby Roode needs to get sent to Raw and go after the US title.
Or go to AEW.
That's
Or
right.
go to TNA.
Yeah, go back to Impact.
I want to see Beer Money back, damn it.
JB, what are your thoughts on this match?
Man, I thought it was good. I think it was 3.5 out of 5. I thought it was a good match.
Yeah.
There's probably a couple of timing issues, and there was a couple of times where I think Montez Ford didn't sell his rib injury. Like he did this big spot, and he landed like 6 moves in a row. And he just like ran back to his corner.
It's adrenaline, man.
And then when he was outside, he like, oh wait, my ribs hurt. Now it hurts. But no, it was good. He's a hell of a lot more athletic and high flying than I thought he was. But and his partner, whose name has
Dawkins.
Dawkins, Angelo Dawkins. Yeah, he's got some good power moves as well. I like him.
He kind of reminds me of D'Lo Brown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he's athletic. He's nuggety.
That was actually mentioned as well because McAfee actually mentioned D'Lo's finisher,
The Sky High.
Yeah, because he thought he was going for one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it, and the Usos got their bad guy victory to keep the Bloodlines momentum going. But yeah, very entertaining match.
If they ever were to split up the Street Profits, I'd definitely like to see Montez against Hardy. That would be a really good combo. Those two.
I think
Double
they
high
could
fly.
go. They could both probably go solo if they wanted to.
I don't want them to.
I don't want them to.
I don't
either.
want them to, but I think they could go solo
Oh,
if
yeah.
they wanted to.
Right, so moving right along to be honest, I think this is the worst match of the night. The Raw Women's title match between Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. Now, while the match was going on, I actually, until the last 3 minutes, only had one note for this match, which was solid but uneventful match. Then all of a sudden, after a bit of biff, bit of bang, Alexa Bliss hits the Sunset Bomb, or as you keep calling it, the Canadian Destroyer, but the Canadian Destroyer finishes as a pole driver.
The almost Canadian Destroyer.
Yeah, it's probably as Canadian Destroyer as Vince McMahon will fucking let it be.
Yep.
Pile Driver's a band, remember?
It was more like a Pittsburgh Sunrise,
No idea what you're on about.
Panama Sunrise.
He wasn't watching AEW. Remember, he didn't come.
Oh, that's right.
I was
he's
dead.
A pussy.
Missed out on one of the best events of the
Pussy.
year.
I was dead.
Pussy. She hit that. Charlotte hit the natural selection and got the pinfall. The other thing I noticed about this match, which really hurt its rating for me a lot more, was that despite the fact that Alexa Bliss is supposed to be this new character, this Bray Wyatt fiend knockoff bullshit malarkey, she really acted like her old persona.
I think that was on purpose, though, because Charlotte did say that she wants the old Alexa back, and I think that was a nod towards
Yeah, I
that.
wonder if it's like the beginning of breaking this fucking character.
I hope so. I really fucking hope so.
I'm over it.
Everyone was over it.
I'm over it.
I think the only person who isn't over it is Alexa Bliss.
I don't even think it's
and
her.
Vince McMahon.
I think it's Vince. I think she wants to go back to her old persona. Like it was good when it started with Bray. That was actually quite good.
It's good if
Then-
Bray is there because then there's the reason for her to be like that.
Exactly.
But now Bray's not there. There's no reason for her to be like this.
Yeah, as soon as Bray left, as soon as they did that bullshit.
And we still haven't had a fucking explanation.
Yep. As soon as they did the bullshit in the Jack in the Box, that's where it sucked.
If they don't fucking... If Alexa breaks character, she needs to fucking explain what the hell's going on. If Bray doesn't come back, and I'm not sure he will.
Maybe because the doll was destroyed, it's going to kick her out of whatever trance she's in.
Yeah, but explain what... Yeah, I don't know. They never explained it. They never explained shit.
It's WWE, they'll never explain it.
No.
So anyway, Charlotte hit the natural selection and won by pinfall to retain the women's Raw Women's title. I'll say women's like 5 times there. Raw Women's Championship. And then after the match, she tore apart Lily, and then Alexa Bliss cried and screamed and had something in her mouth for some unknown reason.
It was like one of those bickies you get from church.
Eucharist.
The one where you...
The bread.
No, it's the round thing, and then you drink the wine.
Yes,
Yeah,
the
it's the
Eucharist.
bread.
Body of Christ.
Yeah,
that's
the
what it
body
is.
of Christ.
She had the body of Christ in her mouth.
Oh,
I didn't see any wine.
Oh, God.
Johnny wishes it was the body of him.
Take this is my body. Now you're foaming at the mouth for a reason.
Right. I gave the match 2 out of 5 stars. I just thought it was uneventful. It was solid, but it was such a meh match. Like, it really did nothing for me. What are your thoughts, JB?
Give it 2.5 out of 5. The extra half because it's Alexa Bliss.
I was going to say the extra half's Alexa's ass.
Yep. I don't know if Alexa Bliss understands how much this new character is fucking ruining her wrestling ability. She is fucking nowhere near the level of wrestler she was ever since she adopted this character, because now all she does is scream and cry.
Yeah, she's one of the better high flyers in the ring.
She's brilliant. She was, and now she's just like slowed down. And
Yeah, but I think a couple of years ago she got like a whole bunch of concussions.
Yeah, she did, actually. I
So
remember
she's had to sort of change her style.
I was about to say, is she like carrying secret injury or what?
Nah, she got roughed around a bit, and she got put on concussion watch for a while, which is why she did all those Moment of Bliss segments with Nikki.
And she broke up with Buddy Murphy and hooked up with Ryan.
Got married or engaged. One of the two. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lucky
How'd that
guy.
work out for Buddy?
So she didn't get any twisted bliss from Johnny. So that's also working against her.
Yeah. Anyway, I just hope the ending of this match is the beginning of her adopting her old personality, because we're all over it.
Fair enough. So you're giving it 2.5 stars.
Yeah, the extra half is purely because it's Alexa Bliss.
How about you, Dr. Shaymus?
I'll give it a 2. Very meh match. They can wrestle. Don't get me wrong, it's fucking Charlotte Flair. Need I say more?
Yeah, well, she can still use flair in
I was going to say,
WWE.
it's Charlotte. I mean, she can always go in the ring. I did enjoy seeing Alexa actually wrestle her old style again for a little bit. It was nice to see, but again, there's no real build to it other than a doll and that bullshit that everyone's already over. Hopefully it ends soon. So, yeah, 2.
All right, so moving on to the next match, which is the triple threat for the United States Championship. And this will probably go against everyone else's logic, but for me, this was the match of the night.
I agree.
It's between Damian Priest, Jeff Hardy, and Shaymus. Now, it started off as a hard-hitting match. Like, Shaymus is very much a very mobile hoss. Like, he does a hoss fight for a match, you know. Everything's got that smash mouth style. Not quite to the level of JBL, where it actually, like, clock you and bust you open like Blue Meanie. But he hits hard, he hits snug. It makes it look like it's a genuine fight, you know.
A fight, fella.
That's right there, fella. Like Liam Neeson. He's going to find you.
And kill you.
At one point, Shaymus gets a Gladiator reference in. Keeps running around saying, "Are you entertained? Are you not entertained?" Except with his Irish accent. Jeff Hardy botches what I called a reverse twist of fate. But Pat McAfee was like, "Oh, he's trying for a Dragon Sleeper."
Which,
No, he saved it.
yeah, I say actually was quite a
I
good
actually
call.
think it was a pretty good fucking save.
Yeah.
It was a botch, but
Yeah,
as
it
soon
was-
as he realized it was a botch, he tried to slip in the Dragon Sleeper to save it. It was
And
good.
that just goes to show how
That's
good
experience.
Yeah, Jeff actually is an experience, because he's been doing it for so long to actually know what to do there.
Yeah, well, he's used to being put in a position where he tries to kick out and he can't because Sting is holding him down because he's too fucked up to wrestle.
Yeah.
So he should be used to that type of thing.
Hey, it never happened. I don't know what you're talking about.
TNA Victory Road. Sheamus mocks the poses of DX, Jeff Hardy, and Damian Priest. At first, the Damian Priest one, I thought it was him actually taking the piss out of Hulk Hogan, but he was doing the arrow pull thing of Damian Priest. So that got a bit of a chuckle out of me. Then I think it was Sheamus was going for a pinfall on Damian Priest, and Jeff Hardy landed the Swanton on top of both of them to break up the pin.
That would have hurt too.
And eventually, after a whole bunch of moves, Damian Priest rolls up Sheamus, and Damian Priest pins Sheamus to retain the United States Championship. And then after the match, he helps Jeff Hardy up and they pose, and Damian Priest bows in a sign of respect to Jeff Hardy, which shows me that Jeff Hardy is going to SmackDown. I gave the match 4 out of 5 stars. What are your thoughts, JB?
I thought a 3.5. I thought it was good. I'm still not quite over with this Damian Priest guy. I don't know what he's supposed to be.
Because you don't watch Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah, no, I only watch the pay-per-views. I only roll in for the podcast, boys.
His character is very confusing. Like the way
He's Mexican, but he looks like an Indian.
and with
weird.
this arrow pulling stuff where he's like the archer of fate or whatever.
Yeah,
it is,
he's like the angel, the archangel or some shit, yeah.
it comes across as more like sort. And I'm looking at my Mortal Kombat movie poster, thinking he reminds me of Nightwolf.
Yeah,
and he's
actually he does.
He does come across as like a Native American
Yeah,
guy.
which is what I thought he was, but no, he's Mexican, right?
Yeah, he's Mexican or Colombian or something. So it sends mixed signals when you've got a guy whose gimmick appears to be one thing, but his heritage is something completely different.
Yeah, it's odd. But he can wrestle. I like watching him wrestle.
I think the X factor in this match was Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, I think Jeff Hardy. I think this was just Priest versus Shaymus.
When isn't he an X Factor though?
It wouldn't have been a great match. Didn't we have that? Wasn't that?
Yeah, SummerSlam.
Yeah, like we already had Priest versus Shaymus. It was an okay match. It was a meh match. Yeah, Jeff Hardy definitely made this match better.
Yeah.
Definitely showed his experience, and his high flying was, needed. I know Shaymus tried to do some top rope stuff, and Damian Priest can do some top rope stuff, but it was good for Jeff to have that balance between two more power guys, I guess.
Yeah.
That was a solid enough match. Yeah.
How about you, Dr. Shaymus?
I give it a 4.5. It was a brilliant match. Definitely the match of the night, in my opinion. Jeff Hardy has always been my favourite wrestler, since he started way, way back in the Brood days. Like Jeff and Matt both. But yeah, he was definitely the star in this triple threat. Absolutely. Sheamus is amazing with Jeff. Their feud was quite good. Back, was it last year? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was last year. Yeah, and the bar fight brawl and stuff like that. It was quite nice. Sheamus with his Smash Mouth style goes really well with Hardy's high flyer. And then adding Damian Priest into the mix as well. He's quite good. Even back in NXT, he was amazing back then. Sure, his gimmick's not that great, don't get me wrong. Arrow thing's kind of cool. But as you said, it kind of conflicts with the way that he looks. They need to change his look if he's going to do that kind of style. However, in the ring, brilliant. All three of those guys have perfect chemistry together.
Yeah.
I don't really have a comparison for a triple threat, but I really, really enjoyed most of the spots there. One of them, Sheamus doing Jeff Hardy's dance on top rope was pretty amusing. Kind of hard to see with the camera angle that they had because he was in the light and he's reflective, like myself.
Pasty white.
Milky.
White chocolate.
Oh, hey.
That's enough about what Johnny wants to do with Alexa Bliss.
What are we, Mike Henry? Sexual chocolate. But yeah, definitely a great match. And really, really enjoyed it.
All right, the next match is the SmackDown Women's Championship between champion Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair.
Belair?
I said Belair.
Belair.
I said Belair.
I didn't say Belair. I said Belair.
Well, she has lots of hair, so...
You're a bell end.
Maybe don't tell Vince this, but maybe she should change her name to Belair.
Please don't. They actually will.
So I thought it was solid action. It was solid action throughout the match. Both showed really great athleticism. Bianca Belair did show off her strength, her athleticism, doing flippy dippy shit around the ring, and then picking up Becky Lynch and chucking her around like a rag doll. Becky Lynch was breaking out a lot of leg drops in this match. It's not normally part of her arsenal.
Hulk Hogan, she's coming for you.
What dropped at some points for me was the finish, where Bianca Belair was about to land the KOD, and then Sasha Banks returns and kicks Bianca Belair in the face. bringing out a disqualification. Then Sasha Banks does over Becky Lynch as well.
Woo, screw finish. Woo.
Woo!
Oh, we can't say that anymore.
Well, yeah. So Bianca Belair won the match by DQ, but Becky Lynch is still the champion. Now, up until that point, it was going to be a 4 out of 5, but I dropped it half a point because of the screwy finish and gave it 3.5 out of 5. Look, I think they've got really good chemistry, these two. I think their chemistry is a lot better than Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks. Like, the first match they had at WrestleMania was really good, but matches subsequent weren't quite up to scratch. And Bianca's entire title reign seemed to have been governed by like really good build-up and then a really subpar match with someone like a Carmella. So it's nice to see her actually have a good match with someone who is a bit of an in-ring general who can help her out a lot more.
I could think of a few better words than subpar for Carmella's matches.
Like, why is Carmella still employed and yet Mickie James got the boot? Or the Iconics got the boot? Or, yeah.
Because she got titties.
Yeah, who else has got titties who isn't on the fucking pay-per-view? Tony fucking Storm.
Yeah, what happened?
Doudrop.
Isn't Tony Storm on the main roster now?
Yep, she's on SmackDown. She's tagging with Liv Morgan.
You reckon she'll get changed in the draft?
No,
No?
she won't.
I hope that Doudrop does get more in the limelight because, yeah, seeing her kick Eva Marie's ass was pretty satisfying, not going to lie. But I do hope she actually gets put in an actual feud because she can go in the ring. Everybody knows because they've seen her. Give her the spotlight she deserves.
Yeah, same with Tony Storm.
Exactly.
And it'll be nice when Asuka comes back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I gave the match 3.5 out of 5. What are your thoughts, Shay?
Yeah, I'll give it a match of 3.5 with that, definitely. I enjoyed that pretty well. It was quite a nice match. Better than the other women's match. Absolutely. Again, as you said, the finish really let that down. It's cool seeing Sasha come back, don't get me wrong. And the setup for the triple threat should be pretty good. All three of those could go really well in the ring. And we know that Becky and Sasha have great chemistry. Their match is legendary with women's wrestling. And we know Bianca can go, and she could probably lift them both at the same time and throw them. But I'm excited to see all three of those in the ring. Not the best finish to the match. The start of it was brilliant. Middle was brilliant. Yeah, and let it down. I would have given that probably a 4, maybe even a 4.5. Actually, no, a 4. The triple threat prior was amazing. Definitely.
JB?
Yeah, 3.5, I guess. You know, they probably could have waited till the end of the match to bring Sasha back, but it's all good. At least we got something better than WrestleMania. The 16-second fucking do-over.
SummerSlam.
That was SummerSlam.
Oh, SummerSlam, sorry. There was a big crowd. There was a big crowd at SummerSlam. It made it look like a WrestleMania. Yeah, no, it's good to see that Becky really hasn't slowed down a whole lot. You know,
After having a kid, absolutely.
She just had a kid and she hasn't really missed a step. Bianca Belair finally got to show what she can do against a top talent. Yeah, you know, physical. They both pulled out all the stops. You know, this probably would have been match of the night, but for the finish. But I'm just happy to see that Bianca could, you know, genuinely got a shot at Becky and showed that she can be a top talent and that she deserves to be in the title picture. And Becky is still deserving of having the title around her waist because she's still in shape and she can still go. And when Sasha gets involved in the next pay-per-view or whenever they're going to do this triple threat, it may very well steal the show. I think it's going to be very good, very much worth the wait.
Yeah, it's Sasha to the mix.
Well, two things I would have changed about this. First of all, the heel Becky Lynch character is not working for me. Much like Alexa Bliss and her Bray Wyatt Fiend knockoff isn't working. yeah, I prefer Becky Lynch as an anti-hero like a Stone Cold Steve Austin. And just being a flat-out heel just doesn't work. I can't buy into it. The second thing I would have changed is, as the match was about to start, I would have had Sasha Banks come out and turn it into a triple threat. That
yeah,
way
but we don't know if Sasha Banks is like ready to go yet.
That's true. If she was ready to go, I would have turned it into
That's
a
how
triple
like
threat.
when Becky Lynch came out at SummerSlam, like she probably wasn't ready to go, which is why it had to be a 26-second match. But you know, it's gonna happen and it's gonna be worth the wait. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, finally, we're up to the final match of the night. It's the Universal Championship, and it is contested under Extreme Rules. Look,
The only match of the night contested under Extreme Rules.
why do they call it Extreme Rules?
You
I mean-
can't have an Extreme Rules pay-per-view in a PG era. It doesn't fucking work.
And look, I'll come back to this in a minute. So we'll go over the match. So it's between the Universal Champion Roman Reigns and the Demon Finn Balor. Now, I do actually have some notes on this match. Surprise, surprise. So it got pretty, I don't want to say extreme because there was nothing truly extreme in this Extreme Rules match.
We've watched enough ECW to know what Extreme is.
Yeah,
This
we
was
did a
not that.
review on
Yeah.
ECW pay-per-view.
This was not that by any stretch.
I mean, hell, we watched the cage match between the Young Bucks and the Lucha Brothers from AEW All Out, and that was more extreme than this match.
Absolutely.
But within the first 3 minutes, Roman Reigns had already pulled out a kendo stick, hoping to beat down on Finn Balor. When he looks in the ring, Finn Balor ain't there. And then Finn Balor pops his head up outside the ring
Very comically.
with a smile on his face, and then pulls out I think 4 kendo sticks are all taped up together.
It was
Kendo
pretty
bat.
cool. Yeah, it was
Kendo
like
bat.
It was a kendo bat, yeah, for lack of better terminology.
And hit him a couple of times with it. Eventually, Roman Reigns recovered from that, pulled out a chair and hit Finn Balor a few times with a chair. And then they went into the crowd, which led to a moment that ended up on a lot of wrestling, like What Culture Wrestling, where they're complaining about it. Roman Reigns put on a mask before they had a schmoz in the crowd, which, like, people think it's comedic, but you've got to understand that because of Roman Reigns' leukemia, if he
He's-
gets COVID, he's dead.
He's what do they call it?
Immunocompromised.
Yeah, immunocompromised. If he gets fucking COVID, he's sick. He's
Okay.
fucked.
He has no immune system.
Yeah.
Yeah. So stop bitching.
Yeah.
Like the dude is literally putting his life on the line, going into the crowd.
Yep.
Oh, look, I actually praise him for putting on a mask and going into the crowd and having a schmoz.
And it shows that you can wear a fucking mask and breathe properly because he was out there for 5 minutes doing wrestling moves in a mask and he was fine.
Yep.
So stop bitching that you can't breathe every time you put a face mask on.
My glasses fog up. I don't like wearing a mask because my glasses fog up.
That's fair
Means you-
enough, but you can still fucking breathe, so shush.
Gotta
Well-
say, you're pinching the nose thing wrong then. If your glasses are fucking up.
Well, there's another way to do it, but I'm not going to turn this into a political thing. Get vaccinated.
Get vaccinated. Has anyone in this room got a vaccination yet?
I'm
He's getting one tomorrow.
That does... I haven't got one. Sorry, Mum.
My mum got the first one.
My mum's been, like, harassing me about it.
Yeah, my mum's harassing me.
Do
about
it. You could
too.
just do a walk in.
Yeah, I know. My ex-housemate actually, registered nurse. Does them. Showgrounds, apparently.
Get her to take one home and just jab you with it.
Pretty much.
In the throat.
That's extreme rules, isn't it?
That's more extreme than anything that happened on this pay-per-view. Vince McMahon, I've got
Jab
an idea.
him with the COVID.
Jab
Jab him with the COVID jab in the dick.
in the dick.
That'll get it around. Jab him in the dick while watching an Alexa Bliss match. That'll get it flowing around really fast.
Just become immortal. Or die. One of the two.
Immortal. You got to kill other immortals by chopping off their head.
There can only
Yes.
be one.
Yes. Highlander, greatest movie of all time. Shut up. Yes, it is.
Let's not go too far.
Shut up. Yes, it is. So back to the match. So eventually they fight back to the ring. And Finn Balor finally listens to the crowd and pulls out a table.
Yay.
I am the table.
And then he sets it up in the ring and Roman Reigns puts him through it. But then he no-sells it and jumps up. Finn Balor gets a... I don't know how to call it. It wasn't a punch, but it was like Undertaker, how he used to strike people back in the 90s.
Like that open hand slap.
No, where he'd jab him in the throat with his fingers.
His fingers, yeah.
So he cops one of them. I call it a throat shot. So he cops the throat shot. Then Finn Balor turns around and hits the Palais. That's how his name is actually pronounced, Michael Cole. Palais. Not Pele. Palais. That's people who actually watch soccer/football.
Americans don't know what that is.
Yeah, I know, because they can't win at it.
They're not Mexican enough.
And then Roman Reigns hits the Superman punch. And then later on, Finn Balor counters the spear by kicking Roman Reigns in the face. Hits Roman Reigns with the sling blade. And then straight after that, Roman Reigns hits a spear. And Finn Balor hits a low blow on Roman Reigns. Now, I looked away for this bit, so you guys might have to fill in the blanks. How did Finn Balor hit a low blow on Roman Reigns?
He was pinning him.
Yeah, and because his shoulder or his arm was in between his legs, when he lifted his shoulder to kick out, low blow.
Yeah, he's like in a crucifix.
You know, that's kind of innovative.
It is. He's gone to just roll out of the pin normally, but as he's gone to roll out of the pin, he's just punched him in the dick.
And that kayfabe was getting him back for low blowing him when they wrestled last time.
Yeah.
Nice.
I've never seen it before, but it's such an easy thing to do.
And then eventually Finn Balor hits the coup de grace, but Roman Reigns kicks out. And then the Usos show up, because we can't have a Roman Reigns title match without the Usos showing
Can't have a
up.
heel champion winning a heel match with a heel finish. I mean, you can.
Yeah. So the Usos interfere and try to put Finn Balor through a table. Finn Balor powerbombs Jimmy Uso through the announce table.
It was a solid powerbomb. Like, he didn't even get him up high. He just dropped him on his head.
Kind of like a Kevin Nash one.
Yeah, like he didn't get him up high. He just
like when Kevin Nash dropped Goldberg and then pinned him for the WCW title and broke his streak back in Starrcade 98. Oh, did I hit a low blow there, JB? Oh.
We're forgetting about the cattle prod, aren't we?
What cattle prod?
Yeah, exactly.
So then Roman Reigns spears Finn Balor through the security barrier that surrounds where the timekeeper is. And then all of a sudden...
How come it's only that part of the barricade that's ever, like, explodes? It's like, it's the weak joint in the structure of WWE. The barricade to the left-hand, to the right-hand side of the announce tables, where the timekeepers are, if you hit them there, it explodes.
It's the
Only that spot.
structural integrity has been compromised in that area.
It's like the exhaust port of the fucking Death Star. That place right there. You literally go kick it, it'll fall over.
Needs a big arrow pointing to it going, structural integrity compromised here.
Doesn't have to, because every second pay-per-view, someone's going fucking through it.
That and the Spanish announce table.
Yeah.
Which they don't do anymore.
No, they don't.
No. And then the lights go red and it starts playing Finn Balor's entrance music, and he no-sells and jumps up and starts... he attacks Roman Reigns with a chair. And then this point here, while it was kind of cool, lost at half a point because screwy finishes strike again. Finn Balor's on the top rope. He's got Roman Reigns set up for the coup de grace. And he's waiting, and he's waiting, and all of a sudden the top rope breaks and he falls down. And then he eats a spear from Roman Reigns and gets pinned, and Roman Reigns retains the Universal Championship. I gave this match, I was going to give it a 4. I gave it a 3.5 because of the screwy finish with the top rope breaking for no apparent reason. What the fruit and fuck was that all about?
I don't know.
That's all.
Yeah, like, it was supposed to look like an accident, but it was clearly a fucking stage thing, right?
Especially from the fucking angle they did it, because the angle in the repeats that they're shown the turnbuckle was like pneumatic and went down. You could see it.
All four of like the turnbuckle ropes like snapped at once, so it was like a release bolt or some shit, but
I was unexpected, don't get me wrong.
it was unexpected. Are they gonna like explain it on Raw that fucking Paul Heyman paid someone to jimmy the rope? Or fuck.
Probably more of an explanation from you that we'll get from WWE at all.
Yeah, well, it was like, oh, it wasn't just the Usos that helped beat Demon Finn Balor. It was like a stroke of luck that the rope somehow broke.
See, it reminded me of when it was Dean Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt back in the day, and Dean Ambrose went to hit him with a TV, and the TV exploded. It's like, what is this cracker shit? You know, really, what is this cracker shit? TVs exploding, top ropes breaking at random.
You could have had the entire ring just implode like Brock Lesnar and Big Show. But
yeah, but at least you could buy into Brock Lesnar and the Big Show. So much weight, all that beef.
It's a lot of beef there, pal.
It's a lot of beef there, pal.
Hitting the ring at the same time. You can imagine it just going, fuck this, I've had enough, and just going, but a top rope with Finn fucking Balor on it?
Yeah, he's not the heaviest guy in the world, is he?
It's like one of the lightest on the roster.
He's like fucking 10 kilos.
Yeah,
He's basically a midget. But I love him. He's great.
But a demon midget.
He's just an angry short guy. With face paint. It's like a clown.
Aren't most short guys angry?
Yes.
So I gave it 3.5 stars. JB, what are your thoughts?
I gave it 4 out of 5. I thought it was a good match. The finish was unexpected. But that match was everything that the crowd had wanted all night, because it was the only Extreme Rules match on the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. It was like, it's a night of Extreme Rules, except it's not a night of Extreme Rules. One match at the end will be Extreme Rules.
Hey, it's an Extreme Rule.
And there was a triple threat match where
there was no rope breaks.
Oh.
There was no rope breaks. That's pretty fucking extreme, right?
Hey.
Oh, shit, it's got nothing on TNA Hardcore Justice.
It's okay, Johnny, it's an Extreme Rule 1.
Yeah, one Extreme Rule.
Yeah, Extreme Rule. Yeah, no, it was a good match. It was a good match. People got put through tables and hit with giant kendo sticks and went out in the crowd, even though Roman had to wear a mask, which shows the human side of him. I mean, the dude's got leukemia, and anyone whinging that he's wearing a face mask to protect himself from possibly literally fucking dying needs to eat more cheese puffs in their fucking mum's basement and maybe go get some fucking sunlight once in a while.
Calling out the marks there.
Calling out the neckbeards, the my-ladies, the fedora-wearing cunts on fucking internet wrestling community.
Wow, that just got us demonetized.
Yep.
That's right, I said cunts.
We were monetized in the first place?
I said cunts on the internet.
Just say it again for the, just so that YouTube algorithm can hear it and go, he said that word again. He can't say that.
YouTube algorithm's melting. So if we go to upload the F1 podcast in a couple of days and it doesn't upload,
you can blame him.
It's because I said cunt a lot.
It's up there with me and my idea of trying to get the old lady from the community radio station to coming up next is Smack My Bitch Up by the Prodigy.
You better say by the Offspring.
I nearly said the Offspring. Followed after that by Fucking Hostile by Pantera. Such wonderful tunes.
That's it. But anyway, where was I?
Yeah, you were talking about
I was saying cunt.
Yes.
Yep, and then, there were chairs, there were tables, there was announce tables getting shattered. There was Demon Finn Balor that legitimately looked like he was going to win this match. And then, the rope break thing.
No, that's what I call a rope break.
Now that was a rope break. Boom. Tsh.
Yeah, because there weren't any in the triple threat.
That's it. Well, this rope definitely broke.
That's why they couldn't have any before.
And then Roman won. I don't know. It's just...
That's the first thing you've won all weekend, hasn't it? Because your other sporting teams have not done exactly well, have they?
I like that you're sitting on the other side of the room. You're out of arm's reach.
You've got to walk past me to get to the door.
That's all right. I'll be back tomorrow to discuss that. Yeah, no, I thought it was a good match. It legitimately looked like Demon Finn Balor was going to win it. And then the screwy finish, and maybe it'll be explained, maybe it'll never be explained, and it'll probably never be explained. It's just a freak accident that the rope broke. But, no, that was a good way to close the show.
Shaymus?
I'll give it a 4-star as well. I quite enjoyed this last match. Most of the spots were very, very good. Heel Roman's been the best iteration of Roman that we've seen so far. Absolutely. And Demon Finn, well, Finn's always good in the ring, demon or not. I am sad that he did lose, because that's the first official loss that Demon Finn has had, which is sad to see. But was a screwy finish, and technically he got snapped out of his demon persona when he had his knee injury, according to kayfabe, because he fell off a fake.
That's right.
buckle.
If I fall 3 meters to the ring, I'm not going to be a demon anymore either.
It's not even 3 meters.
Even though I went through like 7 tables and got whacked with a kendo stick. No, it fell down. My knee. I'm not a demon.
Gravity.
I'm human. Fuck, I'm human. God damn it. Nothing else in this match hurt me though.
I did quite enjoy how aggressive Finn was. Yeah, like definitely shown when he is in his demon persona that he acts completely different.
Yeah,
and Finn does that really, really well. And his coup de grace always looks good. I swear he has to wear different shoes than the rest of the roster when he does coup de grace. Like thinner shoes. So I suppose if you had heavy shoes,
dude, if you've got
stop to
fucking
the ribs.
if you've got 6-inch lift heels coming down
No,
off the top rope,
using some steel caps should be right.
I actually think when I play a gig, I actually wear the same shoes as what him and Sasha Banks wear.
Well, like softer type.
Yeah, they're actual like Greco-Roman wrestling shoes and boxing shoes.
Yeah, like your soft tip shoes.
Yeah, like the entire sole is just like thin rubber. You know.
would you do the coup de grace with like thumbtacks on the bottom of his shoes? Just murders Roman Reigns.
You say thumbtacks in shoes.
Yeah.
You should have seen the cage match.
I did see the highlights.
He saw all the good bits.
Good.
I showed him the good bits of the match.
Phil showed me the good bits.
Of the match.
And also the match.
Definitely, back to the match, definitely one of the better matches of the night. That triple threat still holds the best of the night by quite a bit. But Roman and Finn, always good together. And screwy finish. I was kind of expecting Lesnar to come at the end of that to set up the stuff for Crown Jewel, but I'll probably expect that on SmackDown very soon. And then Paul Heyman to shoot himself.
Yeah. All right. Well, while we're with you, Shay, how many cheese graters out of 5 are you going to give this match? This pay-per-view, This pay-per-view.
I give it, on average, 3.5. Unfortunately, the bad matches outweighed the good matches. There was only 2 good matches in the whole entire card. The rest of them were either average or poor, which is a shame. But you compare it to something like AEW just recently that we did our podcast on. That is the best pay-per-view that I've seen in multiple years. If WWE put on something of that caliber, I'll be very happy. But I doubt I'll see one. Like Survivor Series might be good because it's one of their big 4. But if SummerSlam's anything to go off, sure, we got a few surprises, but the quality of the matches was still meh.
How about you, JB?
Yeah, I got to give it a 3 out of 5. There were some good matches on there. Like, there were some solid matches on there. The triple threat. And obviously the main event was brilliant. But, yeah, you can't name an event Extreme Rules and only have one Extreme Rule match.
Agreed.
It's not out.
Yeah.
Even at TLC, most of those matches are TLC matches, right? Or gimmick matches.
Yeah, like one of them was chairs, one of them was tables,
Yeah,
ladder, and then one of them is usually a TLC.
exactly. So it makes this pay-per-view no longer makes sense.
It's like having Hell in a Cell and having one Hell in a Cell
One
match.
Hell in a Cell match.
What's the point?
Yeah, a lot of these are meh. I think it's time to start adapting the old pay-per-view names back.
No Way Out, Vengeance.
No Way Out,
Well,
Armageddon.
I'll get to that.
Judgment
I'll
Day.
get to that in a sec. So I was going to give it 3.5 out of 5 cheese graters. Look, I thought generally the matches were good. You had your two pretty good matches. But then when you had like a couple of really good matches that had screwy finishes, and then you had that Charlotte Alexa Bliss
Shit show.
the fuck that was about. And it just brings everything right down. And while like there was a lot of great matches on this pay-per-view, I just felt like overall the whole thing was a bit meh. Like it just felt like a meh pay-per-view. Like these pay-per-views like Extreme Rules and Hell in a Cell, they always feel like they're just a filler pay-per-view.
They always
just-
feel like episodes of fucking Raw.
Yeah.
Like, not a single title changed hands.
Yeah.
Tonight.
Yep. Which is
But
disappointing as hell.
The fucking WWE Championship changed hands on Raw like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
But that
What?
was a response to AEW All Out. Because they had CM Punk and Daniel Bryan and Adam Cole.
Sorry, Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, Bryan Danielson, American Dragon Bryan Danielson.
Yeah. It's just,
As much as Vince McMahon doesn't want to admit that AEW is competition, he's got to admit AEW are competition.
he will start losing fans.
He already has.
He has.
Yeah.
And now he's taken over NXT because he deemed NXT to be a failure because it lost to AEW.
Which is a fully fledged, like Rampage is a fully fledged
That's
extension.
like-
It's their
yeah.
SmackDown.
Yeah, that's like Raw and SmackDown, right?
But unlike Raw and SmackDown being one is superior to the other, both Rampage and Dynamite are on par with each other. They are brilliant shows. Dark is their version of NXT, which has their all developmental talent, the lower card. They're on there, and that's still good. Taz is fucking hilarious on commentary there. And you can tell it's a bit more laid back. But the way that they're producing both of those shows, and they're not 3-hour shows, they're fucking 2-hour shows,
Yeah.
which is so good. Like, we got to the end of watching the pay-per-view, and we're like, shit, that show was shorter than a WWE one, but there was so much packed into it. We were never bored.
Go back and watch like a WrestleMania from like the Attitude Era, and they go for 3 hours,
Yeah.
and they don't feel that long.
Yeah.
They're good.
And every match
But-
had a build. Every
but-
single one.
Exactly, and they're all fucking brilliant, right? But you watch a Raw now, and it's like, what was it? I actually saw it up on one of the botch posting pages. Raw went for 3 hours. Total wrestling time was 43 minutes.
It's fucking atrocious.
Everything else was promos and ads.
Like you go back and watch Raw in 1998, like building up for WrestleMania 14, and every episode, like yes, it would start off with either Stone Cold coming out and cutting a promo, or Vince McMahon coming out and cutting a promo about Stone Cold Steve Austin. And then something would happen, and then they'd book the main event match being a tag match or whatever for that night. And then go to a commercial break, got your first match. Your second match is you're in a Continental title match. Have a segment with the women. Have a tag match, and, it sure it was formulaic, but they made alterations here and there
Yeah.
to keep the to keep it still fresh. And at the same time, like here in Australia, we'd have Raw on Fox Sports on a Tuesday night. And then Nitro would play on a different channel on Friday night.
TNT.
Yeah, TNT.
Yeah, TNT. And it would go for 3 hours. And I got to admit, like, 3 hours for Nitro felt like a bit of a stretch. And in 98, when every match had an NWO member in it, it got tedious fast. If it wasn't for the cruiserweights and for the occasional thing happening, like, you know, the NWO Wolfpack or Goldberg or whatever, it would just be monotonous. It would be what Raw has become now.
We literally just said it. This pay-per-view went for 2 hours and 51 minutes. And it felt like a fucking stretch, right?
Yeah.
Raw goes for 3 hours every fucking week. Every fucking week.
Yeah.
Every Monday night.
Yeah, but it should be
longer than that pay-per-view just was.
Yeah.
Pay-per-views should be 3. Don't get me wrong, pay-per-views for 3 hours is fine.
Pay-per-view for 3 hours is fine because you know what? That wasn't too bad.
Yeah, weekly episodic TV shows should not be 3 fucking
Cannot
hours.
be 3 fucking hours.
2
You
hours
cannot
or
do
1
that.
hour.
Yep.
AEW Dynamite, I'm pretty sure only goes for an hour.
Dynamite goes for 2.
So Dynamite's 2. Rampage is 1?
Rampage is 1.
Yeah, Rampage is 1. And Rampage is, you get jam-packed, action-packed straight away.
Yeah.
It's, you get the promo at the start, and then it's action, 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 all the way to the end of the episode.
Yep,
That's what you want.
exactly.
Like, we are in the fucking age of instant fucking information. We're in the ADD age now.
Yeah.
We want instant gratification. We want instant everything. You cannot have fucking 3 hours. This is why test match cricket is fucking dying.
Yeah.
No
I
one
mean,
wants to sit there for a day.
No one's going to sit there for 5 days and watch cricket now.
Yeah, but I mean, even one-day international cricket.
Even 50 over cricket seems long.
Everyone wants T20.
Because it's short and it's done in 3 hours.
And everyone wants to try and slam it for a 6. It's good.
Exactly. It's entertaining. That's what your wrestling program needs to be.
And that's what NXT was when it was on the network.
Yep.
It went for an hour. You got a promo at the start. William Regal would come out, make some matches. Boom. Off to the races.
Yep.
And then it got put onto the USA network to counteract AEW. Was made for 2 hours. And the only reason why I got thumped was because they divided the audience between the people who wanted to see NXT and the people who wanted to watch AEW. If AEW puts Dynamite head-to-head on Monday night against Raw will get slaughtered.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No one
Yeah.
wants to watch Raw for 3 fucking hours.
In fact, if you put Raw, Dynamite on a Friday night, I know that's when Rampage is on, but if you put Dynamite on a Friday night against SmackDown would get slaughtered.
You think so?
Yes.
I think SmackDown's the superior brand.
Oh, SmackDown is, but it would still get slaughtered against AEW. Why? Because
Here's why.
here's why. Thanks,
Simon.
Simon Miller.
Oh, there was a sign for him, by the way, too. There was an ups and downs sign in
Cool.
the front row.
But the reason being is because AEW is filling up with people who we as wrestling fans back. You know, Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, Adam Cole, baby. Even despite the fact that I can't stand him, Kenny Omega. Yeah, the Young Bucks, the Lucha Brothers, Jurassic Express. I got that right.
Yep.
Right? Yeah.
The Dark Order.
Yeah. You know, it's all these guys that we as wrestling fans back because a 80-year-old man who can't see past the end of his nose has fucked over all these people. And what's worse is you've got more people like Kevin Owens, Johnny Gargano, Sami Zayn, who when their contracts are up, they're thinking about jumping ship and going to AEW.
Yep.
AEW has become the 21st century WCW.
Exactly. AEW needs to make sure it doesn't oversaturate itself either.
AEW needs to look at WCW in the 90s, Nitro, and not become 3 hours for Nitro, for their Nitro, Dynamite.
Next thing you know, they'll put things in a pole match.
Don't hire Vince Russo.
Look, Chris Jericho is like co-running that place, and he was there. He fucking knows what happened.
They'd hire Vince Russo just to kick his ass and to fire him.
I'll get to Vince Russo in a sec though, but AEW can learn from WCW, learn from the past. I mean, they've got a Ted Turner in Tony Khan, and they've got a television network that believes in it.
Billionaire Tony.
Yeah, Billionaire Tony, and you've got the TNT network, which has always been the home of wrestling. You know, the Turner stations have always been the home of wrestling. They need to stay the course. They need to not get ahead of themselves and not try too hard. One thing that AEW can do is try and get better international distribution. Like actually have something on Foxtel or something in Australia for their product. Because not many people know to go to the fight.com page to get AEW.
They got the AEW network.
True. So when it comes to WWE, you know, we sit here and say Vince McMahon is an old man who needs to retire. And I still stand behind that, despite the fact that our friend Tim has said to me that he thinks that Vince McMahon is smarter than we give him credit for. My question to you guys is this, and I'm going to put forward my idea. How can you change WWE? My idea, besides pegging Raw back at 2 hours and SmackDown back to an hour and a half.
It's PG, you can't peg people.
And getting rid of that PG crap. I think there's only one way to fix WWE. They got to hire Vince Russo. I'm serious. They've got to do something because clearly their creative area is just completely bankrupt. You've got Vince McMahon rewriting the script of Raw half an hour to an hour before Raw begins, which is the same chaotic bullshit that Eric Bischoff was doing 10 minutes before Nitro. That's why Nitro was such chaos. They wouldn't have a script until the show was already started. And Vince McMahon's tearing up the script an hour before the show and having them rewrite the entire show purely because someone keeps leaking what's going on to Dave Meltzer and the rest of the dirt sheets. He needs a Vince Russo who'll just write batshit balmy shit and send that out so the dirt sheets get the crazy mental shit and then he can stick with his main plan.
Just get a dummy writer to like leak shit to the fucking dirt sheets. Yeah, you're right.
But Vince doesn't seem to know what talent is. I mean, he wanted to bring Adam Cole up to the main roster to be Keith Lee's manager. Now he's changing Keith Lee's name to... Oh, God, it was something so stupid.
Is it just Keith?
No, he's changing his entire name and gimmick.
What about 3 Drop?
Dewdrop?
3 Drop.
Yeah, 3 Drop.
No, it was Bearcat.
What?
Why?
Yeah, he's changing him to Bearcat.
What about Man Bear Pig?
Half man, half bear, half pig. He's
Man
not
Bear.
Razorback.
meat.
Yeah, what is so wrong with Keith Lee being what brought him to the dance, which is Keith Lee?
Vince doesn't like him.
You got Shane Thorne, who was in what was that stupid faction from last year?
Retribution.
Retribution. He was Slapjack. Well, now his new gimmick is he comes out dressed like Steve Irwin.
Right.
Is it just me, or is WWE reverting to early 1990s WWE, where everyone's got some ridiculous gimmick?
Everybody
Yeah,
gets
man.
gimmick.
You know, are we going
Can we
to
have
Big Boss Man too.
Kamala?
we'll have the Goon and
Doing the Clown 3.
Doink the Clown worked though, because he was evil. But you had Duke the Dumpster Droz. You know, you've got
We're gonna have dudes dressed as pirates with fake parrots on their fucking arms.
Earthquake.
Yeah.
I think that was Uncle Fred.
Every wrestler has to be a cartoon character now. Every single one of them.
Yeah, it's
It's going full circle.
Just look at Karrion Kross. What they did to him.
The only person who's
he looks like a reject from Mad Max 2.
He looks like he's just walked out of a BDSM store.
That's what I mean. He looks like Lord Humongous from Mad Max 2. I'm waiting for him to sit there and have someone come out with a microphone and go, here's the Ayatollah of rock and roller. Here's the this. Here's Lord Humongous.
And
then for him to get on the microphone and go, give me all your fuel and we will let you live.
Do you know what's worse? The main reason that they changed his gimmick like that is because, your current look doesn't sell. He was an NXT champion and was one of the better wrestlers on that card because that was his look. He was menacing. People were scared of him because he'd put you in his submission move and fuck you over. That was the thing about Karrion. And then it comes to the main roster, they change his look and now he wears a fucking mask and looks like he's just walked out of a porn store and he's gonna, strap you down and fuck you.
he might.
That'll
That'll give
actually
Raw some
work.
ratings.
Hey, he's not Mark Henry. Oh, no, Viscera, sorry.
Hey, we're not giving birth to hands anymore. But if they want some ratings, maybe it's time to.
I mean, Triple H, made love to a corpse.
Good old Katie Vick.
Yeah, but Triple H isn't in charge of NXT anymore. Vince
Is
and
Triple
Bruce
H
Pritchard
doing anything at the moment?
are recovering from a heart attack.
Yeah, he had a heart
Oh,
attack.
yeah, he had a heart surgery. I forgot.
But I mean, like Shawn Michaels was supposed to be running developmental, but then Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard came in and they've redone it and made this bright and colourful and wacky looking NXT where they're pushing to, I will give them credit for this, Braun Breaker, Rick Steiner's son. Like, he wrestles like Rick Steiner. He cuts a promo like Scott Steiner. They had to bleep out half of his promo last week on NXT because it was just him swearing.
Hey, as long as he starts with Steiner Math, I'm happy.
Well, yeah, people were commenting like, when's he going to start doing Steiner math? And he sounds like his uncle. What are you two bitches? Come in here. We'll have a tag match. You and me in the chair versus you two bitches. Get your ass in the ring. Beep, 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 beep. And then he wrestles like he's Rick Steiner, where he really wants to kill people. It's great. But, I mean...
And they changed the theme song too. Just some pop shit.
Yeah, because, people don't like heavy metal music. Gee, it worked all right in the Attitude Era, Vince.
Yeah.
Your highest rating show was full of metal and Limp Bizkit. Lots of Fred Durst.
Yeah.
And nothing wrong with that.
Lots
The
of Fred
entire
Durst.
invasion angle was fueled by bodies by Drowning Pool.
Yep.
WrestleMania was My Way by Limp Bizkit, which was arguably one of their best songs to go with that.
It definitely was.
I mean, look at WrestleMania 20, which was the first, I think it was the first WrestleMania to go for 4 hours. And its theme was Step Up by Drowning Pool.
Yep.
And I think WrestleMania 20 is an amazing WrestleMania.
It was. I went back and watched it the other night.
Other than the Goldberg-Brock Lesnar match, that was a bit of a dumpster
You
fire.
get to fast forward the first 20 minutes of it to see 3 spears and an F5 and a jackhammer and then 2 stunners.
But I think seeing Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar, I think Brock Lesnar goes for a shooting star press and nearly breaks his neck.
That was a good match though.
That was a good match, but he nearly died.
And then Brock Lesnar nearly dies, and that's entertainment, pal. That's good shit.
That's some good shit there, pal.
Yeah, but you got to see your favorite move.
Shooting star press. It nearly killed Brock Lesnar.
Okay, well, JB, what would you do to change WWE?
It's got to be shorter and snappier, dude. Less yapping, more fapping. No, more wrestling.
How about you, Shay?
Exactly what JB just said. Make it shorter. Make it back like the old pay-per-views.
Make it what NXT was.
Yeah.
It's just wrestling. Just wrestle.
Yep.
We're here for a wrestling show. We're not here to... You know what? Maybe 2 weeks out from a pay-per-view, you can start doing your promo shit.
Yeah.
But people fucking... We pay to watch wrestling because we want to see wrestling.
Yeah, change the names back to, like, Vengeance to, No Way Out. Change it Armageddon. Change it to generic names so you don't lock people into having to have a fucking type of match every single year. Because that was the thing of gimmick matches is they were special. Hell in a Cell, special. Armageddon Hell in a Cell was one of the best iterations of that without The Undertaker that I've seen. Like, you've seen fucking Rikishi get pushed off the top of a cage.
By Undertaker.
Yeah, actually, they did have Undertaker in it.
Into the back of a truck, yeah.
Into the back of a truck. I mean, and you had Vince McMahon himself come out and try to pull the fucking cage down. You never see that kind of special shit. Austin and The Rock, you've seen them beat the shit out of each other with a camera. The camera that zipped around that was like worth $50,000 apparently. But special types of moves like that, like even Survivor Series, like the 5-on-5 elimination match used to be the match. Now you have 2 of the damn things, and they've lost their luster. Like, they used to be the main event. Now it's, here's the Survivor Series match, but it's in the middle of the card. The fuck's the point of that? It's, if you're going to have one surrounding, like one gimmick that's surrounding, make it your main event, do one of them, or in this case with like Extreme Rules, do it across the board. Make all of them that.
Well, I think the last time they did a Survivor Series where the 5-on-5 elimination, your traditional Survivor Series match was the main event, was 2001. When, winner takes all, either the Alliance or
that was good. I loved that one.
Yeah.
Arguably, a lot of people hated it too. But I enjoyed it. But the last Survivor Series I can remember that was good was the NXT versus SmackDown versus Raw. That was actually quite good.
Yeah.
Because it brought a new spin on that match. You had a triple threat Survivor Series, which hadn't been done before.
And you had the genuine threat of seeing how good the NXT guys were compared to the main roster.
And that did its job too. They all looked fucking brilliant.
Particularly Rhea Ripley.
Yep.
Rhea Ripley came out of that looking like an absolute fucking champion.
So did Keith Lee.
Yeah. And the night before Survivor Series, Rhea Ripley was in War Games.
Yep.
So she was already banged up and fucked up. And then the next night she's got to do it again. And she sold it, and she came through looking like an absolute champion. Her and Toni Storm. I think Io Shirai was in that match as well.
She was.
Absolute legendary. Same with Keith Lee. Keith Lee got the rub from Roman Reigns.
Yep.
And yet, it counted for Zoot.
Yep.
Because now you've got Rhea Ripley, who lost the Raw Women's title to Charlotte Flair, and then immediately became tag team champions with Nikki ASH.
Which nobody cares about the tag team champions anymore.
They need to unify the women's tag titles with the NXT women's tag titles and have them defended on all 3 brands.
Fuck, even the men's ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the men's ones, they don't have enough on both brands to warrant having 2 separate ones. It's usually one tag team holds it for nearly a fucking year. Street Profits held it for 316 days, I'm pretty sure they said earlier. The main reason they did it was because they had no fucking competition. Yeah. Or the competition they had, they already fought, and they can't do a repeat match because they did that match like 50 times on Raw.
Or all those other tag teams have been released.
Yeah, and they release all the rest, or they break them up.
Or they release half a tag team and then say, we're going to give you a push, give him one match, and then go, oh no, we're going to put you in a new tag team, a makeshift tag team with someone else who had a tag partner that we also released.
Yeah,
like Otis and Chad
Heavy
Gable.
Machinery. Heavy Machinery was fucking perfect. People loved both of them. Like Tucker, obviously they like more. Otis they like more than Tucker, but they worked well together because Tucker was on the mic Otis was the, big guy who just did weird shit that people liked.
And then never cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase.
Yeah,
Which
don't
was
get me started on
hilarious.
that.
Which was hilarious.
And then they split them up. They turned Tucker heel, and he disappeared off the face of the earth and got fired.
Yeah.
What?
It's like Miz and Morrison. Like, they were a prominent tag team, and then all of a sudden they split up on Raw. And then they had a match. And that was it. Now they're not a tag team anymore. I don't even know what the fuck they're doing. I'm guessing one of them's going to get shipped off to SmackDown.
I hope to fucking God that Morrison actually has a run. Give him a singles run of the Intercontinental title. Or the US title. Whichever. Give him something. He is one of the best cruiserweight type wrestlers, like the flippy dippy wrestlers that they have. Him and Jeff Hardy. Give me that. I want to see that. A lot of people want to see that.
You know what they'll do? They'll put him in a tag team with Dolph Ziggler.
I mean, Dolph is great. Put him in the singles as well. I mean, give him like a tournament. Bring back King of the Ring. Solved.
Okay. My next question is, well, you've kind of handle it yourself, but I'll pitch it to JB. Do you think the concept of naming all their pay-per-views after the actual main event matches has passed its use-by date?
Yeah. Because they're locked into gimmick matches. And half of them aren't even the gimmick that the fucking the name of the pay-per-view is about.
Like tonight, there was one Extreme Rules match.
Rule match, one Hell in a Cell match, one or two Elimination Chamber matches, I guess.
When it comes to the Hell in a Cell, I think the Hell in a Cell match is something that has to be earned. Not just it's a pay-per-view and like we'll do a match at SummerSlam and then a match at Extreme Rules and then, oh look, Hell in a Cell, we'll slap them in there. I think it's a match that needs to be earned.
Absolutely. I remember when the Elimination Chamber was the main event match of SummerSlam, like 2002, 2003.
Yeah.
And it was fucking awesome.
Yeah, and a good example of earning Hell in a Cell match. Roman Reigns against anybody to lock out the bloodline actually being able to come in and interfere. That is a good way of utilizing that type. Steel cage as well.
Roman Reigns winning clean, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you look back in the day, like the very first one, Shawn Michaels and Undertaker. It was earned.
Yeah.
It was earned with Mankind and Undertaker because what else can you get these two lunatics to do? You can't just keep putting them in singles matches. I mean, they've done Buried Alive matches. They've done Boiler Room Brawls. They've done this. You need to up the ante. And it needs to be the thing that finishes a feud.
I can't wait for the Punjabi prison pay-per-view, boys.
No, fucking please don't.
But I mean, even like TLC, at the end of every year, you're going to get TLC. It's not earned, though.
TLC is one of the exceptions. TLC, they usually do right, which I'm okay with. However, the one that they always do right, that I've not seen a bad one, is Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
That is one exception I'll make to that. Because that used to be put in with WrestleMania.
Yeah,
I'm glad that they separated that out, and they do that one every year, because that deserves to have its own pay-per-view.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's probably the only gimmick pay-per-view you could get away with.
Yep.
Everything else, yeah, just go back to generic names. Don't lock your superstars into anything. If there's going to be a Hell in a Cell main event and it's at fucking Judgment Day, that's what you wait for. You're not waiting for Hell in a Cell to see a Hell in a Cell match.
And it adds more surprise too. It's not
like why should Hell in a Cell be locked into one slot of the year?
Yeah, exactly. You could have a Hell in a Cell and
how cool was Hell in a Cell going to WrestleMania for Triple H and Undertaker?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Even had its own entrance music.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
it did too.
Yeah, it was The Memory Remains by Metallica.
When was the last time there was a Cell match at WrestleMania before that? I think it was Undertaker and Big Boss Man, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like
Yes.
WrestleMania 15 or some shit.
And then they've
have to
had
think
one
back
Hell
there.
in a Cell match at WrestleMania since.
Yep.
Which was Taker versus Shane McMahon.
Yeah.
4, if Shane McMahon won, he would get control of Raw. He lost,
And got control, right?
and then he got control of Raw the next night anyway.
Because he fucking jumped off the fucking thing and tried to kill himself.
Probably.
Because he's like, what, 50?
Because he's Shane O'Mac, baby.
But I mean, you don't get... Like, they're really good at throwing a pay-per-view called Extreme Rules and throwing one Extreme Rules match. Or throwing Hell in a Cell and having 2 Hell in a Cell matches inside of... That's your phone. Jesus Christ, mate. Hell in a Cell pay-per-view where they're inside a cell that's painted red so that no one can see what the fuck is going on in it. Elimination Chamber.
It's Bray Wyatt getting disqualified. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Remind
But
me.
you never see matches nowadays that are submission only. You don't see an I Quit match very often.
Iron Man.
Yeah, an Iron Man
No
match.
one does Iron Man matches
They
anymore.
don't do a Buried Alive match anymore. They don't do a casket match.
Closest thing we got to that was Undertaker and AJ.
Yeah, with the Boneyard
Cinematic match.
That was a cinematic match.
That was great.
That was good.
That was brilliant, but yeah.
You don't see an I Quit match. You don't see empty arena matches.
You did. It was called the fucking Thunderdome. They did that for a fucking year, mate.
Oh, true.
I never want to see an
You've got
arena
me
match
there.
again. Well, actually, we did see an I Quit match, though. The last one we seen was Roman and...
Jey Uso. Jimmy Uso. One of the Usos.
Yeah, one of the Usos in a cage.
In the cage of the
It was an
cell.
I Quit match in a cage, which was kind of weird, but sure.
But I mean, you don't see. Oh god, I had like a couple more match types in my head then.
They've fallen by the wayside, though.
Hardcore.
You don't see a boiler room brawl.
Hardcore match.
Because you can't, because
PC.
PG.
Yeah, PG.
You can't. What do you do?
Like actual hardcore matches like WrestleMania.
To be
17.
fair, Braun Strowman and fucking Bray Wyatt had a swamp match, so...
Yeah,
That
but
was okay too.
shit.
I know it was terrible,
okay.
but it was still something.
Eh,
It actually at least had story to it. I'll give him that.
yeah,
And
I
Alexa
mean,
Bliss was in a fucking black dress, and that was the beginning of her fucking craziness.
it was better than Bray Wyatt versus John Cena in whatever the fuck that cinematic match was.
Promo match.
Yeah.
The John Cena's career recap match.
The only good thing about that was seeing John Cena come out to the NWO music. That was it.
Brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which actually spawned, there's a YouTube channel called Elemental Games, and they use the 2K20 game to tell a storyline where John Cena actually bought the rights of the NWO and is Hollywood Cena, and he's got like a handlebar mustache, and he runs the NWO
So they're using one of the worst game engines in the world.
to tell a better story than Vince has come up with in the last 10 fucking years. It's actually really solid. Like, he had Bobby Roode as he wasn't glorious Bobby Roode, he was the it factor. And they had a rivalry between them and DX, where Kane was a member of DX alongside James Storm.
Suck at.
His outfit was green and black, not red and black. James Storm, Shawn Michaels, and Triple H, and X-Pac. And they went to war against the NWO. And it's still going. It's really good. It's really well written, and it does its job well. Maybe Vince should hire that guy to write the storylines for WWE, because at least it would make more sense. But
Can you explain to me what the Alexa Bliss's gimmick is?
no,
No,
No.
never
No
happened.
one
not
fucking
even
can.
God knows that one.
No one can.
Hey, you already fought him.
And lost. And won.
Yeah, he beat Shawn Michaels and God
And
in a
God.
tag match.
Did.
But, there's other gimmick matches. Like, you never see a Texas bull rope match. Granted, they were never that great. I mean, the only one that was okay was JBL versus Eddie Guerrero.
I don't know.
JBL got opened up like a stuffed pig.
Batista and JBL's was alright too.
But you know what I mean? Like, they've got all these gimmicks that they can use. Oh, let's just do a pay-per-view of Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
Let's do a pay-per-view of Elimination Chamber. There's no surprise about it.
Yeah, that's the thing where AEW have WWE is because half their matches too, like take the Young Bucks and
Lucha
Brothers. I couldn't tell who was going to win that. Like usually with WWE, you can be like, this guy's going to win. Roman's going to win every time, unless someone like The Rock or Cena was one of those ones where I didn't know if Cena was going to win that or not. But AEW, you get these matches where you don't know who's going to win, and that adds the surprise back into it because it's like, wow, what if this guy wins? How's that going to affect the story? What if this guy wins? And the stipulations, because they're named all different things like Full Gear, All Out, stuff like that. you don't know what gimmicks and what type of matches you're getting, and that's the beauty of it.
I think WWE needs to adopt it. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, like we know with NXT we're going to get War Games, but they still keep War Games mysterious. Yeah, there's still an air of mystery around War Games because you don't know who's going to be in it.
And you don't know what order they're going in.
You don't know what they're going to do in there.
I mean, hell, half of them got locked out last time. Remember? They put the padlock on the bloody cage.
Yeah. But, you know, I mean, you had that one with Pat McAfee in it. You didn't know how well he was going to go in it. He did all right.
Turns out quite well.
Yeah. But then you get Hell in a Cell and you're like, it's just watered down. Like, they're not going to climb on the roof. They're not going to fall off the side. They're not going to get thrown off.
Glorified cage match.
Yeah, they're literally locked inside. No one gets outside.
And it's a really big cage, and they do absolutely fucking nothing with it. How about they cut 6 meters off it, bring the roof down so the roof is high enough that if you climb on the top turnbuckle, you can grab onto the roof.
Yeah, like the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah. And then let the guys who can do something with it, like your Finn Balor's, your AJ Styles, your Jeff Hardys, let them run amok in it instead of sticking it with guys like Seth Rollins who...
Oh, Seth.
Yeah, but Seth Rollins, like when he did that match with The Fiend Bray Wyatt, he didn't do much.
He hated that match too. That was what I was going to say to you before. That Broken Skull session, he actually talked with Vince. Talked about Vince and that. He was like, I wanted to strangle Vince after that match. He fucking hated it. That wasn't his call.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, that wasn't his call.
Hated
it. Vince.
It was just an atrocious pile of shit.
Yeah, he fucking despised it. It was like, I think he mentioned it as one of his worst matches ever, and he wanted The Fiend to go over like hard with that. Like even more so than he wanted to kind of have it as a competitive match rather than just a glorified squash match, which it was.
My final question to float to you guys is, what changes would you make to the women's division in WWE to make it better? Because, as I said during the AEW pay-per-view review, like I used to think that the women's division in WWE was far better than the AEW one. And now that you've got guys like Britt Baker, now Ruby Soho, Jamie Hayter, who is one of my wives, she just doesn't realise it yet. But you've got all these talented women in AEW now. It almost feels like WWE's women's roster, which for a time was trend-setting, seems to be left in the dust now too. Like, what changes would you guys make?
You need to find some fucking talent. You can't just keep relying on the same 3 people to carry your fucking company.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They're relying on
Becky Lynch,
Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha.
And Sasha and Bianca Belair, I guess, is the new one in the mix.
Bianca
and Alexa Bliss.
Asuka will be back.
Yeah, Asuka's out with an arm injury and she had all her teeth fixed.
Yeah, right. And Alexa Bliss, if she drops this fucking gimmick, can go.
Okay, well, who would you let go from the women's division?
I think we can all...
Eva Marie.
Yeah, Eva Marie.
Eva Marie.
Carmella.
There's nothing useless.
Nia Jax.
Yeah, she's been sidelined again with an injury, thank God.
I don't know.
But they'll never do it because she's part of the family.
People, but she fucking... Yeah, I don't know. I like her monster gimmick. Dewdrop needs to fucking change her name back. She needs to be put up and never...
I was going to say, she turned around and said, at first I hated the name, but now I'm just going to stick with it. Fuck it.
Right, I will stick with it.
Yeah.
But she needs to be fucking started to be pushed in the main event because she can fucking go.
Absolutely.
Who would you like to see get pushed in the main event?
Dewdrop.
Tony.
Who else?
Tony Storm and the green hair. What's her name? Blackheart.
Shotzi Blackheart.
Yeah, I want to see Shotzi get pushed too. She can go quite well in the ring.
Well, her and Tegan Nox are a tag team.
Yeah, those two in the tag division. Put them in the main tag division against some of the other women that are out there.
Yeah, they need to start throwing that fucking belt around.
Yeah.
Like, it can't keep landing on Becky and Charlotte and fucking Asuka and even Alexa.
Oh, it'll keep landing on Charlotte to
Like,
break a daddy's
Dewdrop's
record.
there, and fucking Shotzi Blackheart and Rhea Ripley and fucking a whole bunch of people.
Well, I'd like to see on SmackDown, I'd like to see Liv Morgan get a push.
Yes. Yep.
Liv Morgan, she is, like, she's better than Carmella. She's better than Naomi. Yeah, she can kind of go in the ring. She's not the greatest, but she's better than you think.
And she's good on the mic, and she doesn't get enough time on there. Like, she's shown that she was good when she was changing her gimmick the first time. They gave her a bit of screen time. She was good. And then she just dropped off the face of the fucking planet again.
I'd like to see Toni Storm, because she, other than being one of my wives, she can go in the ring. She is hilarious on the microphone. Like, she is fantastic on the microphone. Obviously, Tegan Nox, Shotzi Blackheart, would love
Natalya?
to see them. I'm over Natalya.
Natalya had her chance.
She has a specific style that she wrestles, and that's because she was taught that way with, Brett and all that in the Heart Dungeon.
Natty
She
had her
needs-
chance. Her chance was a few years ago.
She needs to play to her strengths, so submission. She needs to be sort of like what Kurt Angle sort of was with a submission type specialist. She needs to be in that kind of match.
I think Natalya needs to leave WWE and go work at Impact or NWA to
She-
refresh the character.
She may, but she may even go to AEW because Brett and, all the Heart stuff that's going on over there.
I think her style is a little bit old hat at the moment, so I think that's why Impact or NWA would suit her more.
Which is a shame because I quite like Natty. Like, she seems like quite nice, and some of the stuff that she did with the with the dad stuff like that was cool, but they stepped over the line with the the sunglasses and stuff like that
Yeah.
from the Anvil, which was wrong, and that's just WWE doing WWE stuff.
I'd like to see them push Rhea Ripley.
Even more
She-
so than what they did.
She was great, and then they just
Went cold on her.
they went cold on her as soon as Charlotte came back. And when this one comes back, I'd like to see him push Lacey Evans because she really improved.
She played a great heel. Like,
She did.
face was
I actually liked her as a face, but then they couldn't make up their mind what they were doing, and it was confusing everyone what they were doing with her.
Yeah.
and then did the heel thing with Rick, which was weird.
Yeah,
I'm pregnant. For
Yeah.
real.
Ric Flair wasn't happy with that storyline.
No.
And he made it clear to Vince he wasn't happy about it.
Looks even worse now.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. But I'd like them to bring Io Shirai up to the main roster and do something with her. But I'm kind of worried they'll bring her up to the main roster and put her in a tag team with Asuka, like they did with Kairi Sane.
Yep.
It's the two ones that speak Asian. They need to go
Right.
together.
And apparently Paige is trying with doctors so that she can make an in-ring return with WWE.
WWE. I thought she was going to AEW because WWE said no.
No. She has made it clear she wants to wrestle for WWE.
Which is good. I'd love to see her back because she was fucking brilliant on the mic and in the ring. And she proved that she could do both. And even as a manager. She did really well with, who was she with? Two. She was with two girls.
She managed Asuka and Kairi Sane. And before that, she was part of the group with Charlotte and Becky.
Yeah, Charlotte and Becky, I remember that. Yeah, she was a part of the, the major...
PCB.
Revolution. Yeah, PCB. That was one of the major women's revolution turning points.
Yeah.
That's what I would like to see back. Evolution. I'd love to see that come back because that was a perfect representation of female wrestling.
Same with the Mae Young
Women's wrestling, I should
Classic.
say. Yeah, the Mae Young Classic. Absolutely. That.
Yeah.
Look at the names that were in the previous ones. Doudrop was there.
Yeah, Piper
Io
Niven.
Shirai, Piper Niven,
Rhea Ripley.
Rhea,
Deanna Purrazzo,
Tony.
the Impact Women's Champion.
Tony Storm.
Tony Storm. Mercedes Martinez.
Yep.
I mean, why they let go of her? She was
Wasn't
fantastic.
Tessa in there as well?
Tessa Blanchard, yeah, because she lost to Kairi Sane in the opening round.
Yep.
There was Dakota Kai.
Just the sheer amount of talent in those types of matches. But WWE never will do that again because they had realized they had too much in their roster for some unknown reason, which they didn't actually, and then let half of them go because, we're going to try and cut costs. Piss off.
They signed everyone so that AEW wouldn't sign them.
Yep.
And then they ended up letting them go and they all went to AEW anyway.
Yeah, waited 90 days and went over there anyway. Who cares?
It's fucking
Waste everybody's
stupid,
time.
You know?
And money.
Yeah, it's utterly stupid. Same with the Cruiserweight Classic.
Absolutely.
There was so many talent from that. And then they just slowly whittled it away, got rid of 205 Live. Apparently now, Gran Metalik and Lindsay Dorado have both asked for their release from WWE.
Yep, and they will go to AEW with the Latinos there.
Yeah, well, they can go there or they can go to Impact.
Yep.
They'll be fine either way.
Absolutely. Those guys can go in the ring really well. You've seen how well they could go in the when they had their tag team matches together. Like, they were flying.
AEW overlooked Buddy Murphy, though.
I'm surprised that they let him go.
But it looks like Impact is going to sign him.
Good. He'll appear in AEW anyway, then, in that case. The Forbidden Door.
Yeah. But
Actually, no, that's NJ.
But, yeah, like the women's division in WWE, it's just Vince McMahon has no clue.
Yep.
And then you've got John Laryngitis back as head of talent relations, which means that's why you got Eva Marie back. I'm surprised he isn't getting his stepdaughters, the Bellas, back in there. No one wants to see the Bellas wrestle again. They were crap back in the day, and they're still crap now. If I wanted to see women from 10 years ago back in the ring, I'd want to see AJ Lee. I know that'll never happen, but...
Yeah, she said herself that she doesn't want to go back in the ring. Unfortunately.
Caitlyn?
Yes.
Paige.
Yep. You may get the last one.
Caitlyn went back into fitness, but she was in the second Mae Young Classic.
Yeah, I remember she came back and everyone was super excited about it.
So was Serena Deeb.
Yes, she was.
Yeah, they were talented, but you know we're stuck with Eva Marie and more of these talentless hacks who have got no right being in a damn ring.
We got titties though.
If you can hear that, that's my response. Right, so here's a question for you. Should we do a review of Crown Jewel?
No.
No, I don't think it's worth it.
No?
No.
No.
We will watch it, but we will not review it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because chances are it's going to be utterly shit.
Yeah, it usually is. It's just a cheap pop money-making exercise.
So you're not going to hear us as a collective for a while, unless we do a retro pay-per-view, which we can do that.
I could think of one.
Well, I'm glad you can think of one, but I'm picking it.
Oh, I mentioned it a few times tonight and I wouldn't mind it.
So we're up in the air as to when we're going to be back doing another one of these. But if we don't do a retro one, we are going to do the Survivor Series. Hopefully we'll have a guest person with us for that one to give a different perspective. He has talked about possibly showing up to one of these at some point. Come on, Tim, you bastard.
Not naming names.
Anyway, so we will see you when we see you again. So on behalf of Dr. Shaymus and JB, we thank you for tuning in tonight. We hope you enjoyed the review plus our rants on the various state of wrestling and WWE. And until we see you again, it is goodbye for now. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.
Bye.